Hello and welcome back to Major League Talk Giants edition. Today is Monday, May 8th, 2023. My name is Henry Self. This is episode 12. Today we're going to be reviewing the series against the Milwaukee Brewers. This is our 11th series of the year, starting another home stand against a Brewers team that started hot and has recently hit a skid, getting swept by the Rockies in Colorado just before coming into the Bay Area. Game one saw both starting pitchers have rough first innings, followed by three shutdown innings, and then another crooked number runs inning. Two Giants homered in the game, and the Giants won 6-4. Game two saw Cobb have another great outing with 7 scoreless innings pitched. The Giants didn't give up a single run until the ninth. They won the game 4-1. The final game was a bit harder to watch for Giants fans with two-run home runs given up by Stripling. Both home runs were preceded by walks. The Giants would rack up a lot of hits, but ultimately be unable to secure the series sweep, losing 7-3. The starting pitchers for each game were Burns versus Minaya in game one, Rea versus Cobb in game two, and then Hauser versus Stripling in game three. Game one, like I said, the starter was Minaya. He had an average outing, nothing really spectacular. The offense was able to back up the runs he gave up. Manaya's final line was 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 4 runs, three earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. For the lineup, you had Wade Jr. at first, who was 0 for 2 with a strikeout and 2 walks and a run. Estrada was at short. He went 1 for 4 with a run and an RBI. Davis was at third. He only went 1 for 3 with a strikeout, a 2-run home run, and a walk. Peterson was DHing. He only went 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs, and then Flores would come in to pinch hit and DH, and he would go 1 for 1 with a home run. Haniger was in left, 0 for 4 with a strikeout. Conforto in right, 0 for 3 with a strikeout and a walk. Bart was catching. He went 0 for 4 in this game with a strikeout. Wisely was playing second, went 1 for 3, 2 strikeouts, a walk, and a run. Stevenson was in center, went 0 for 2 with a walk, a strikeout, and a run. So that puts our total at 5 for 29 with 8 strikeouts during this game, but 6 runs. So the bullpen managed to pull through in this game, managing to not allow a single run in the late innings. Brebbia was first out, pitching the 6th, getting 2 strikeouts and a flyout. Tyler Rogers pitched the 7th and 8th, giving up only 1 hit and striking out 2. 2 groundouts, a lineout, and flyout accounted for the other outs that he got. Duvall would come out to close the game, defending another 2-run lead. He'd get a strikeout, groundout, walk, and then a strikeout in the game. As for the offense, they left 5 on base when would only go 2 for 7 with runners in scoring position. Peterson Estrada got 2 out RBIs. Wisely stole 2 bases, and the defense turned 1 double play and also earned 2 errors. Estrada on a fielding error, Bart on a throwing error. That's the second of the year for both of them. The Brewers managed to steal 2 bases on 3 attempts. So yeah, both starting pitchers kind of had rough outings to start. Like nothing really great, nothing really too terrible either. Luckily, we would end up coming out with a win there. Looking at Manaya's pitcher report, he threw 91 pitches, 31 changeups, 30 sliders, 29 four-seamers, and a sinker for shits and giggles. Changeups were coming in at 84.5. The four-seamers were at 92.5, and the sliders were at 85.1. Most of the lateral movement on all of his pitches, at least according to in reference to this center line, they're all going away from a righty. The sliders don't really have as much lateral movement. The changeups have the most drop. Good release point. Spray pattern across the strike zone. He starts up and away from righties and then kind of comes to getting more down and into them. He threw 50 pitches in the zone, 41 out of the zone. Batters would swing at 49 of his pitches and take 42. Looks to be about the same distribution among all those 3 main pitches. They did swing at the one sinker that he threw. 28 balls, 29 strikes. Of those strikes, 14 were called, 15 were swinging. The called strikes, they were four seamers and changeups. The swinging strikes, there were a few sliders in there. 34 pitches were made contact with, 20 foul tips, 6 hits for outs, and 8 base hits. He gave up 6 hard hits, 4 grounders, 1 line drive, and 1 fly ball. For the ump, it was a man named Chris Guiccione, I think. Guccione. I don't know. Overall accuracy, 93%. Overall consistency, 95%. Overall favor, plus 0.93 runs for Milwaukee. The impactful missed calls that he had. And in case I haven't said this before, the way they do this impactful missed calls, it's the largest changes in run expectancy. The first one was bottom of the 5th, Burns to a junior, 1 out, runners on second and third, 2-2 count. A ball is called a strike. The second one, top of the 1st, Mania to Anderson, 2 outs, a runner on third, 2-1 count. A ball is called a strike. And then bottom of the 5th, Burns to Wade Jr., 1 out, runners on second and third, 0-0 count. A ball is called a strike. So all the impactful missed calls are balls called strikes. His called ball accuracy was 99%. 1 of the 112 called balls were true strikes. But it's his called strike accuracy that's pretty low, 81%. 10 of 52 called strikes were true balls. So it doesn't say. One thing that would be pretty cool if they did this or started doing this for those like called strikes and called balls, it would be nice to see each one of them, like who it was for and who is, or like this called strike that's actually a ball was pitched by a Giants pitcher or was pitched by XYZ pitcher. I think that'd be interesting to see in those pitch reports. But all right, so let's move on to game 2. Like I said, Cobb threw another great game in this one. He pitched 7 shutout innings. His final line was 7 innings, 5 hits, no runs, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. I like seeing that from starters. Getting 6, 7 innings, nice quality start. Wade Jr. was at first. He went 1 for 4 with a run and a strikeout. Estrada was at short again, 1 for 4 with a home run, 2 RBIs. Davis 2 for 4 with a strikeout. Peterson another 0 for 4 day for him with 1 strikeout. Haniger went 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Conforto was in right. Excuse me, Haniger was in left. Conforto was in right, went 0 for 2 with a walk and a run. Bart was catching again. He went 1 for 3 with 1 strikeout. Wisely was at second. He went 1 for 3 with his first major league home run coming in this game. So that was really cool to see. Congratulations, kid. Stevenson in center. He went 0 for 3. So that puts us at 6 for 30 on the day with 5 strikeouts. That, I believe, is a season low, or at least matches a season low. 5 strikeouts in a game. That's nice to see. I like that trend. Went from 8 to 5. Okay. Only drew 1 walk. 2 home runs on the day for us. Taylor Rogers was the first reliever in the game. He would come out to pitch the 8th, walk 1, strikeout 1, giving up no hits or runs. And then John Brebbia would come out to pitch the 9th. He was meant to close the game, but he would only record 1 out. He'd walk the first 2 batters he faced, get a strikeout, and give up an RBI single. Kapler decided to pull him, brought out Duvall, who would get 2 flyouts to end the game. The offense ended up leaving 3 on base, went 0 for 1 with runners in scoring position. Bart hit a double and a 2-out RBI. Wisely also got a 2-out RBI, and the defense turned 1 double play. For the pitching report, Cobb, like I said, 7 innings, so 107 pitches, 51 sinkers, 38 splitters, 14 knuckle curves, and 4 sliders. Splitters, 89.3, knuckle curve, 82.9, sinkers, 94.1, and the sliders, 86.2. Obviously, the most dropped was that knuckle curve. The knuckle curve and the sliders tended to go away from a righty, whereas the splitters and sinkers were coming into a righty. Release point of almost 6 feet for this man. Not a lot that was really above the zone for him as far as pitch locations. There were a few that would go down and out from a righty. Most of them were relatively right there around the zone or kind of inside on a righty. He threw 59 pitches in the strike zone, 48 pitches out of the strike zone, and batters would take 65 and swing at 42. They mainly took the sinkers and mainly swung at the splitters. 39 balls, the bulk of which were sinkers, 34 strikes, 25 called, 9 swinging. Of the called strikes, mainly sinkers. 34 of his pitches were hit. He got 14 foul tips, 15 hits for outs, and 5 base hits. Of those 5 that were hit for base hits, there was 1 slider, 1 knuckle curve, and 3 splitters. 8 hard hits, 15 grounders, or excuse me, 8 hard hits, 7 grounders, and 1 line drive for those hard hits. And calling the balls and strikes was a man named David Rackley. His overall accuracy was 94%. Overall consistency was 91% in his favor, plus 0.27 runs for Milwaukee. And these impactful missed calls: top of the 5th, Cobb to Winker, 1 out, runner on first, a 2-2 count, a strike is called a ball. Bottom of the 3rd, Ray Attaway Jr., 1 out, bases empty, 0-2 count, a strike is called a ball. And top of the 9th, Duvall to Taylor, 1 out, runners on first and second, first pitch, strike is called a ball. So the opposite of the day before. Day before, it was all balls called strikes. This one's strikes called balls. Interesting. Called ball accuracy, 95%, 5 of 101 called balls were true strikes, and his called strike accuracy was 92%, 4 of 51 called strikes were true balls. So that was Saturday. I'll admit I really didn't get to watch much of that one, but it was nice to see that we managed to carry a scoreless game into the 7th and 8th innings and almost through to the 9th. Not the best outing there for Brevia, but he'll bounce back. Game 3, it was Stripling starting for us. And I'll admit this one kind of felt like a bit of regression when you give up 2 home runs. And like I said, the mistakes that made this one more painful, each of those, was that right before those home runs were hit, he had walked a batter. So 2-run home runs. You can't be giving up too many of those. The offense was able to back him up after the first mistake by scoring 2 runs in the bottom of the 2nd. But that was all the support he really got after that. We didn't score another run until the bottom of the 9th off, and that was Estrada hitting a home run. So his final line was 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, and 3 strikes. I like that Kapler's kind of keeping him in a bit longer, trying to get him stretched a little bit, kind of trying to get him to find his rhythm. So his past 2 starts, he has gone 5 innings each. Hopefully he starts getting more of his feel back and getting more of his rhythm that he needs, and he can start going 6 and 7 innings. And hopefully we can start seeing some 3 runs or less out of him. Now, what was interesting about the offense in this game is that both sides had a lot of hits. For us, Wade Jr. was in first. He went 2 for 5 with 1 strikeout and an RBI. Estrada was at short. He went 3 for 5 with 1 strikeout and a home run. Haniger was in left. He went 2 for 5 with 2 strikeouts. Peterson was DHing. He went 0 for 5. 3 strikeouts. Flores was at third. He went 2 for 4 with a strikeout. Conforto 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. He was in right. Hopefully he can start getting back. Like I said, there was a period there where he was doing well, and now he's kind of regressing back to what we saw at the beginning of the year. Hopefully he gets out of his funk. Sable was catching. He went 3 for 4 with a strikeout and a run. Slater was in center. He went 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a walk and a run. Davis would come in to pinch hit in his spot, but then strike out. It was only the one. And then Stevenson would take his place on the field in center. Wisely was at second. He went 1 for 4 with a strikeout and an RBI. 13 hits total for the offense. 13 for 39, but only 3 runs to show for it. 14 strikeouts. 14 strikeouts. That means the pitchers themselves accounted for over 50% of the outs necessary. Gross. Just gross. Oh well. Junis would relieve Stripling in the 6th and also pitched the 7th and 8th innings. He struck out 2, walked 3, hit a batter, and managed to get 2 inning-ending double plays, 1 in the 7th and 1 in the 8th. He managed to keep the game within 3 runs by not allowing any of those runners to score and inducing those double plays. Cole Waits, who the Giants recalled from Sacramento on the 2nd of May, came out for the 9th inning. And I kind of forgot who Cole Waits was. I had to go back and look. And in 2022, it wasn't terrible. He came on for 7 games, pitching 5.2 innings last year. And over that 5.2 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 home run, 4 walks, and 4 strikeouts. So not a bad 5.2 innings. But this inning was not so great for him. A fielding error allowed the first batter to safely reach first base. The next batter got an RBI single. The first out comes on a ground out to short, allowing the runner to get to third. Next is an RBI single. He gets a fly out, gives up an infield single, and then a strikeout. So I faced 7 batters total in the 9th inning, giving up 3 hits and 2 runs, only one of which was credited as an earned run, and got 1 strikeout. Took it from a 5-2 game to a 7-2 game going into the bottom of the 9th. The offense left 10 on base, went 3 for 12 with runners in scoring position. Flores and Sable hit doubles. Wade Jr. and Wisely each got 2 out RBIs. The defense turned 3 double plays, and Estrada earned an error, which is the second in 3 games for him and his 3rd one on the season. The Brewers managed to steal 3 bases in the game on 4 attempts. So Ross Stripling's pitcher report, he threw 90 pitches. Here's one of the things about him. He throws a lot of different pitches. He's got 5 different pitches up here, each with 10 or more pitches. So 25 changeups, 22 four-seamers, 20 sliders, 13 knuckle curves, 10 sinkers. Wow, that's a lot. The changeups were 83.4, four-seamers 91.3, the knuckle curves 75.4, sinkers 90.6, and sliders 86.6. Not the most lateral movement, really. Obviously, the knuckle curves got the most drop. All of his release points are over 6 feet. The strike zone, he's not really going away too much. It's really just top to bottom. There's a couple that come into a righty, but it's not like amazing, like way out. It's, just missing, kind of in there. So nothing too wild, mainly missing high and missing low. He threw 49 pitches in the strike zone, 41 outside of the strike zone. Batters would swing at 42 of his pitches and take 48. Kind of an even mix. They took more knuckle curves than they swung at. 32 balls, at least four of each pitch where it was a ball. Um, 21 strikes, 16 called, five swinging. And then 37 of his pitches were hit in some way. He got 19 foul tips, 10 hits for outs, and then 8 base hits. Those base hits were one sinker, two sliders, two four seamers, and three changeups. 10 balls were hard hits, four ground balls, three line drives, three fly balls. So, and then calling the balls and strikes, man named Jeremy Riggs, 97% overall accuracy, 95% overall consistency. His impactful missed calls, bottom of the fifth, Hauser to Haniger, 2 outs, runner on first, and 1-2 count. Strike is called a ball. Bottom of the fifth, Hauser to Wade Jr., 1 out, bases empty, 2-1 count. Ball is called a strike. Top of the ninth, Waits to Winker, no outs, runner on first, 0-1 count, strike. It's called a ball. His called ball accuracy was 97%, 3 of 110 called balls were true strikes, and his called strike accuracy, 95%, 3 of 63 called strikes were true balls. So his overall favor was plus 0.04 runs for San Francisco. So that's the series. We ended up winning 2-1. It's hard to sweep in the majors. So this series moved us to 15 and 18 overall, slowly trying to claw our way back to 500. 9 and 8 in home games. We're still 5 games back of the first place Dodgers, who are at 21 and 14. The Diamondbacks are second at 19 and 15. The Padres at third, 18 and 17. And real quick, just for the side note, I gotta say, as much as I don't like the Dodgers winning, obviously, you gotta admit and kind of admire the instant karma there in that weekend series, the Dodgers and Padres. The Padres, whoever was operating that scoreboard, having that meme of Clayton Kershaw come up when they won the first game and then they drop the next 2 games. And honestly, the way they won the way the Padres lost the game on Sunday was pretty funny, giving up a game tying home run to Mookie Betts in the top of the ninth, and then giving up 3 more runs in the 10th. So whatever. Maybe don't make fun of one of the best pitchers in the league just because you won. Rockies are in 5th place at 14 and 21. The Giants have now won back-to-back series for the first time this season and have won 3 of their last 4 series. So those are some positive notes to really build off of. Last episode, I looked at some team batting splits. This episode, I wanted to cover some of the pitching. So most of this is going to be from Fangraphs with a little bit sprinkled in from Baseball Reference. According to Fangraphs overall, the Giants rank 25th in pitching. As a whole, they're 13th in strikeouts per 9, 8.98. They're 4th in walks per 9 at 2.85. 24th in home runs per 9 at 1.35. 17th in ERA at 4.47. 17th in FIP at 4.39. And 25th in WAR at 1.7. So, kind of average there with some things. Good to see they were in the top 5 in walks per 9. The pitchers have also received 11 pitch clock violations, 1 disengagement violation, and a catcher pitch clock violation. A total of 12 balls given up by violations. The pitching staff leads the majors in ground ball percentage at 49.9%. It gets hard contact about a third of the time, just over 33%. When you break it down between the starters and relievers, though, the discrepancy really comes out, and it's not really a surprise when you think about it. The starters are 10th overall when you sort by advanced stats on Fangraphs, and the relievers are 26th overall, sorting in the same way. Starters have given up 24 home runs, but the relievers are not far behind at 20, which is definitely not something you want to see. I don't like seeing that the relievers are that close to the starters and home runs given up. And then even more stark is the difference in earned runs. And the starters have given up 67 earned runs, 77 total runs. And the relievers have given up more earned and total runs, 79 earned runs and 88 total runs. Kind of hard to win baseball games when your relievers are coming on and giving up more runs than your starters are. Um, the relievers have given up 55 walks and struck out 128 compared to the starters' 38 walks and 165 strikeouts. So they're not the relievers are not far behind the starters and home runs given up. They're walking more and they're giving up more overall runs. Relievers have 10 wild pitches to the starters 4. So that's giving an advantage to the base runners. The top 2 pitchers or pitches for both groups, based on the percentage of which ones are thrown, it looks like it's sinkers and sliders. So our overall staff likes those 2 pitches the most. And all those stats kind of paint a picture that the Giants fans already know. The bullpen has been our Achilles heel. It just has so far this season, and some of our guys need to figure some things out. I mean, we sent Sean Jelly down to AAA. Hopefully, he can figure out what's going on with his mechanics. And it just, like I said, it's hard to win games when your relievers are giving up way more runs than your starters. We've given up a lot of late inning runs. The ERA for innings 7 through 9, for instance, is 6.53, with inning 7 being the worst at 7.64. As far as splits, though, there's not much of a difference between facing righties and lefties. 261 batting average against right-handed batting, 261 batting average against left-handed batting. OPS 760 for righties, 734 for lefties. So, I mean, when you try and look at splits like that, there's not much there. But a positive trend, though, to note, starters are starting to average more innings per start, which is a really good trend to see. So as long as we can get some of our best starters or top 3 right now being Webb, DeSclafani, and Cobb. Hopefully Wood comes back and he can still keep up the way that he started. That'll give us 4 great starters to depend on, and hopefully they can really start averaging, 6, 7 innings a start, giving us more quality starts than not. And then, trying to look at some of the other pitching stats from Baseball Reference. You can look up the stats here, the splits for who's for batting first. So how are the stats for each position of the batting lineup? Right now, the lowest average is batting 8th, 208. You can look at the counts. First pitch, 1-0 count. After 3-0 count, 0 balls, 0 strikes, all that kind of stuff. When the pitcher's ahead, we're obviously doing better. Keeping the batting average down to 199. When the batter's ahead, it's 283 batting average. They even have it split on here. Runners in scoring position, no one on, men on. You can look at where the positions they're in. A lot of things that you can really dig through here. They even have days of rest, hit locations. So the hit location is kind of interesting. To the infield, the batting average is a .091, which is what it should be. To the outfield, though, That's pretty high, points 606 for batting average if the ball's hit to the outfield. Um, and as far as pulled up the middle and opposite field, the highest is opposite field for left-handed batting at a 404 clip, and then pulled for a right-handed batter at a 431 clip. That tells a story right there. Down the right side. Down the left side, not much better. Oh well. But when you actually look at the batter or the pitchers themselves, I wanted to give a couple of pitcher shout outs as far as like who's got the better strikeout rate, who's got the better walk rate and whatnot. Let me get to that real quick. So our walk rate, the lowest right now is Dave Sclafani at 2.1% for the starters. And then Scott Alexander for the relievers at 4.2%. And then strikeout rates, Brebbia for the relievers, 36.2. And for the starters, 27% for Logan Webb. So no surprise there. Home run rates. Camilo Duvall, 1.7%. Scott Alexander, 2.1%. But so no surprise there with some of those numbers with strikeouts and walk rates. But like I said, looking at all these numbers, looking at the splits between starters and relievers, righties, lefties, all that, it paints a picture that if you've been watching, you kind of already know in the back of your head, and you've noticed, everybody's noticed, it's not like a big secret. We're having a hard time getting consistent performances from relievers and having a hard time preventing runs in the late innings. But hopefully there is a turn coming at some point with all of that, and I'd rather see it sooner than later. But once again, I just want to say thank you to everybody who listens. I truly appreciate it. If you have any comments, pointers, tips, corrections, any type of feedback, just go ahead and let me know. Any comments on the videos or anything like that. I appreciate any and all feedback. I'm trying a couple of different things with these next few episodes, some different things to look over for the closing remarks and whatnot. Once again, all the sources for this data: Baseball Reference, Baseball Savant, ESPN, Ump Scorecards, The Athletic via Andrew Baggerly and Grant Brisbee, and NBC Sports Bay Area via Alex Pavlovich, and of course, just watching the games. So the next series is against the Nationals. We're playing 3 against them at Oracle. So let's hope that with this this below average team, we can kind of ride ourselves. Like I said, we're 3 games under 500 right now. If we sweep, we're right at 500. If we at least win the series, and that'll put us at 17 and 19 and close that gap by 1 more game. And we can just slowly start doing that over and over again. One game at a time. It's okay. So take it easy.